and gentlemen, guys, gals, and all of our non-binary pals, welcome to your favorite monthly talk show. That's not Avatar the podcast. That's right, it's AvaTalk. Tonight, we have a very, very special surprise in store for you. We're talking about relationships in the Avatar, the Last Airbender series. That's right. And as always, everyone give a kind welcome to everyone's, I'm just gonna say, second favorite, maybe first, member of Avatar the podcast. That's right, it's Acorn Bandit! Come on, you can muster up a little more for Acorn Bandit! There we go. I like that one better. Yes. What a wonderful time to be Acorn Bandit. And as always, your host, Boo! Sir Greg.
Booing yourself right out the gate.
Well, you gotta get it out of the way. So that way anyone who boos me after the fact is they're just, I don't know, unoriginal, maybe? Some might say.
Yeah.
Not me. Not me. I wouldn't say that. I would dare not call any one of our wonderful people here watching us live over twitch.tv/the Geek Generation on the last Friday of this wonderful June month. Acorn, how are you?
I'm doing good. It's a Friday.
Yeah.
So that's always great. Great start to any talk show about Avatar. The fact that it's Friday, almost the weekend.
I love Fridays so much. And yes, everyone who's watching this, sorry. We missed an episode. We got a little lost on our way through the Fire Nation, but we found our way. We're good to go. We're going to make sure that we have a buffer from now on so we don't miss any more deadlines. But I'm happy this is the first deadline we've actually missed in...
I know.
I think since book one. Maybe I feel like we missed one in book one. Maybe. I don't remember though. Anyways, It's been a while. I gotta stop talking. Like this. I can't get out of that. That voice.
The radio announcer voice.
I can't do it. It's so difficult. But hello. Well, my hair is crazy today. I'm gonna get a haircut. Okay.
You know what's also crazy?
What? What's crazy?
This overlay.
Isn't it?
It looks so good.
We're in the Fire Nation now. Because of last month's winner, the Fire Nation, we decided to go see what all the fuss was about. And it's hot. I'll tell you that.
It's very warm.
Very warm right now. Yes. But it's fine. We do want to announce the newest winners, though, of the 100-year war, since it is the last Friday of the month, and we actually have a tie, surprisingly. yes The Fire Nation has been let's just say burned to ashes, and the new winner is the two-way tie between the Earth Kingdom and the Air Nomads, actually. So
Earth Kingdom and Air Nomads. See, when you said there was a tie, I was like, oh, finally someone caught up with the Fire Nation. They have a tie, but no, you're saying they got booted out of the running completely?
Booted out of the running completely.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think someone changed their mind or something. I don't know. But so since we are currently in the Fire Nation right now, you'll have to see where we go next month, because normally I would just say we're going to go to the winner, but there's two winners. I don't know where to go. We can't split up.
No, we can't. I'm not going to the Earth Kingdom without you.
I don't want to go. Actually, you know what? Maybe going to the air temples might be fine, but it's still scary. I don't want to go without you. Who knows what could happen? I could get eaten by an air bison by accident. I don't know. Maddie, how you doing? Anyways, let's talk about you know what? Acorn, I want you to announce what we're going to be talking about tonight officially for everyone.
I would be happy to. Also, just in case anyone was confused about what we were just talking about and why we are in the Fire Nation, we are, of course, talking about the 100-Year War, which is an exclusive, what do you want to call it? Competition on our Patreon.
Yeah, friendly wager.
Friendly wager, friendly competition on our Patreon, where all of our pledges get to choose their own nation representation. And we factor that in every month to see who is in the win and who is winning the 100-Year War. And so currently we have a shocking tie between the Air Nation or Air Nomads and the Earth Kingdom. That's
right.
Amazing.
That's right. I mean, the Earth is rumbling for sure. I thought that I thought for sure we got in a couple last second Air Nomad, I don't know what you call them, votes, additions, whatever. And I was like, oh, they're going to blow it away for sure. But the Earth Kingdom is still standing strong on solid ground. So I like it. I like it.
Unshakable.
Unshakable. That's right. If you want to turn the tides of war, Water Tribe people, you can always go to patreon.com/avatar the podcast, make a pledge of the $5 or more, and you will be entered. And I'm really proud of this too. We got a couple of our benefits, rewards. I don't remember the official term, out for all of our patrons of the 100-Year War and above. So we got a doodle page out, which came out really cool. I'm really excited for the next one.
I was really happy with it. It was fun.
Yeah, it was such a good time. And we got our first 2 AMA questions done in the AMA number 1. So go read those if you haven't already. It's great. Yeah.
Secret podcast coming next week.
Secret podcast coming next week as well. A little late, but you know what? The best things you just got to wait for sometimes. It's just going to...
Like the beach.
Exactly.
Well, let's talk about our topic today.
Yes, let's do it.
Similar to... I'm going to butcher this. I'm trying to make it funny. Similar to beaches and boats and things that float. We're talking about shipping today.
Yay! Shipping!
That was like a D grade pun. I tried.
You know what? I appreciate not only that pun, but you said like the deep Greg pun, which is like the ocean deep, which I'm going to count. I'm going to put that on there. So that's a double.
I did not mean to do that, but I'll take it.
We'll do it. That's all right. I see.
Double pun.
I see what you did there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, shipping. We have heard so much from the community about their favorite ships, people asking us who our favorite ships are, people referencing different fan fiction and asking, what do we think about shipping? So let's talk about shipping today. And of course, by shipping, I mean fan favorite character romantic combinations of all kinds.
I have a new one after watching The Beach, so I'm very excited to throw my own in here too. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah. But first, we should probably read what some of our wonderful fans who wrote into Avatar, the podcast at gmail.com said.
Let's do it.
All right. The first one comes from Robert C. Robert C., frequent pen pal of Avatar, the podcast, by the way. How you doing? Hope everything's going well on your end. Robert C. writes, this setup of Zuko and Katara is the single most hated moment of the show for me. Wow. It spawned...
He was talking about the scene in the crystal catacombs or the crystal caves.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
It spawned the Zuko and Katara ship, which isn't and shouldn't be a thing. This is
strong opinions.
That's very strong. This is the first moment after so long of opposing each other, and fans think just a little heart-to-heart overcomes the complete opposite position, building a friendship and trust and Katara have been building since episode 1! Exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark. And since episode 1 is in all caps, just so everyone knows how passionate he is about that particular like idea or thought. Why did the creators do this? That's a very good question.
I've gone back and forth on if that was intentional or not. If the creators were trying to build a nice, friendly, not hateful or enemy-filled moment, if they were just trying to give Zuko and Katara something to connect over, or if they were planting little seed, the little Zutara ship there. I don't know. I'm on the fence.
Yeah. That's me too. I think I go back and forth a lot on it too. It feels very obvious that it might have been intentional, but at the same time, there's a lot of things that we feel might have been intentional that weren't necessarily. So we know from episode 1, the relationship between Iroh and Zuko has changed quite a bit, because originally it wasn't meant to be this kind of father-son dynamic. It was something much different, much less interesting, but then kind of evolved from there. So at some point they did these steps to kind of get everyone in that headspace, including themselves, and they were probably like, oh, we didn't mean to do that, but you know what, we're going to do it now. We're going to stick with it because this is what has been building up.
Yeah. And also, after listening to the first episode of Braving the Elements, the fact that the actors had that existing nephew-uncle relationship actually, I feel like, informed their acting and their performance. Can you imagine if it was actually, if the team had gone with their original idea of that dynamic between Zuko and Iroh, they would have followed a teacher-pupil type of situation. But I imagine if they had gone that direction, Dante and Mako would still have an element of like warm friendliness, warm familiarity, just because of them knowing each other, you know?
Yeah, I can see that. I think it would be more of, do I want to say Zhang, but like less grumpy and Aang? That kind of
I could see that
vibe, maybe. Yeah, but I'm happy that it kind of like the performance kind of influenced the art a bit, and then we got this much deeper, much more loving, much more interesting story for sure. So did they mean to make Zuko and Katara kind of a thing in the eyes of the fans? Maybe it does make things a little more interesting, because right now we're all, Aang and Katara sitting in a cave. You can't say Kaissing because it's not rhyming, but you know what I'm going with that. Doesn't rhyme.
Yep.
But maybe it was kind of like, you don't want things to get too good for Aang. You got to throw like maybe a little wrench in those works.
A little competition in there.
Because it's the opposite spectrum of personalities from him. Zuko's very introverted, very proud, although they're both very set in their ways. Very angry. And Aang's just not.
I know.
Aang's not. Aang's just happy-go-lucky.
That's why I think at the end of the day, the Aang and Katara ship is my personal favorite, just because I feel like, and we've talked about this on the podcast before.
We have, yeah.
I just feel like their personalities are more well suited than Katara and Zuko. And also Mac in chat says, I always think Zuko should have gone back to Jin. They were so awkward and cute together. I agree. Yeah. But that's the kind of, I guess, character that seems to be well matched with Zuko. The one that's either a little awkward or a little gothy, a little reserved. I feel like Katara and Zuko, if they had actually gotten together, they would have killed each other eventually, because they're so opposite.
Yeah. It's like a good friendship, and I think Katara would be a great influence on Zuko, but I think that she can't put up with that for too long. I don't think she can. I don't think she could.
Yeah, I get the appeal to all you Zutara shoppers. Wow, shippers out there. All you Zutara shoppers. Hello. I get it. They are opposites. Yep. Opposites attract and all of that, fire and water. I get it. I get the appeal. I just may not, be a passenger aboard that ship.
Yeah. I'm definitely not. I do really like Zuko with Jen, and like Zuko and May, when I first was rewatching these episodes and they're together and they're so cute and lovey-dovey, I was really into it. But now I don't know, I kind of want them to break up. I don't know why. I think it's just because they're like,
they do.
I know, but like I want them to. I don't know. I want them to they're too cool together. It's just like two cool kids together, and I just want to see them apart. That's probably just like the bitter old man in me, or like the bitter
I think
kid.
it's the bitter old man coming through. Yeah.
But
you're right. They have this like extreme dynamic where as soon as they were together, it's like they're the cool kids club.
Yeah.
It's their little corner, the little dark umbrella covered corner where they're just like, I hate everything. I just don't hate you. And especially in the beach, we're going to talk about this next week when the episode drops, especially in the beach, we see them at their most moody and their most, what's the word? Boyfriend, girlfriendy, their whole dynamic is right there.
They're like attached up at the hip, and it's not a good look for either of them. Two characters who we love and we know and love them to be independent, and they're attached at the hip to each other, and they're almost like codependent. And it kind of ruins both of their personalities, in my opinion, a little bit. So I'm excited for when
it muddies the waters.
Yes.
I think that's a good way of putting it.
Yes.
I've noticed that too, which, it's fine because later in the series, I feel like all of the events that Mei and Zuko go through just make them stronger together in the end when they finally do end up together, like permanently. Sure. I think this is that awkward stage where you first start dating someone and you get like really mushy and meshed, and you're like very similar to each other because you're just so into the relationship. But then some distance and some experience will help everyone define themselves. So I think that's also the journey that Zuko and Mei go through.
So final answer is we do not ship Zuko and Katara. It's Katara and Aang forever. Yes?
Forever.
Yes. All right, moving on.
Our next writer is Felicia, and Felicia writes, I read a lot of fan fiction, so I'm probably going to send you guys some fics that I've read as they've become relevant to your discussions. By the way, I'm a multi-shipper in most fandoms, especially this one, because these are young teens and they're allowed to like multiple people and take their time figuring things out. But my favorite ship is Sokka Zuko.
Interesting.
I
don't know if I've heard that one. Okay, let's break down the personalities and let's see if we think this is a good fit. So we have Sokka, who is stubborn, who is not proud necessarily. He's goofy. He knows what he wants to do and he knows how he wants to do it. He's not really open to feedback, let's say, about his plans necessarily. He's bullheaded. He almost like a horse with blinders. He's narrow sight. No, what's the term I'm looking for? I don't know. Anyway, like he's very like
he's fixated on the things that he wants to do.
Yes.
He's the idea guy. He's the one who knows. He has the plans.
He's got the plans. Now let's talk about Zuko. Stubborn, proud, arrogant, also has plans, also gets very fixated on things. Not goofy until a bit later in season 3, where he's just kind of awkward at that point. They're very similar.
They are very similar.
The only real difference, I'm going to be a little spicy right now and say the only real difference, I think, is that Zuko is the moody teenager. And that's it.
Yes.
That's it.
Yep. Okay. So actually, I can see the appeal of this ship because it's kind of like the jock and the emo kid love story.
Not emo. I wouldn't call... Well, are you saying Sokka's the jock?
Yeah, I'm saying like Sokka's the jock.
He's not really the jock, though. I don't know.
Football or whatever. We're talking from like a United States perspective here. Don't think like football because that's always the jock. Let's say like he's like the javelin or the long distance country runner or something like that. That kind of jock. Maybe.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to really sleep on this one. What part of the Breakfast Club does Sokka belong to? What stereotype of the Breakfast Club does Sokka belong to? I'll have to sleep on that. I agree. Zuko, I would say, is actually kind of like a jock freak, for lack of a better term. What did they call Judd Nelson's character in that? Punk. Yeah. He's like a combo, like punk, jock, for me. Sokka is the class clown, is what he is.
Yeah.
Is what he really is.
Exactly. I'm feeling like while they're completely different characters, I'm feeling shades of Harry Draco fan fiction.
Oh, okay.
The whole
Yeah.
like they're enemies,
Yep.
but they're similar in a lot of ways,
Yep.
family issues and pride issues and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
I can see where that is coming from.
Yes.
In an alternate universe, in the fan fiction world, I could see that being very interesting.
I think this is a good place to drop my new favorite ship.
Let's do it.
So it's very much in the vein of Sokka Zuko. It is Ty Lee Azula. That
Ooh.
I was watching The Beach, and I'll probably talk about this on the episode for The Beach. But when Ty Lee is giving Azula dating advice and she like jokingly hits on Azula, I was like, this is perfect. These two,
you're like, wait, this works.
This works so well. Like I thought that maybe they would just go home together. Well, they did, but not. You know what I mean, the way. But yeah. Like Ty Azula, yes, Azula, Princess J Azula in chat, yes. Thank you.
I like it.
I really,
I ship that.
Yeah. I saw it. I was like, they're so cute together. They complement each other's weaknesses and strengths. They're just like two opposite sides of the same coin, and I really dig it. And I think it's very similar with the Sokka Zuko kind of thing. Yeah. Because we've said it in the podcast a couple times. Ty Lee is very similar to Sokka in many ways in terms of personality. She's like a Sokka Aang hybrid in terms of personality.
She is. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it.
Yes.
We established in the last episode that you're not a Harry Potter fan, which I'm still hurt over.
Yep.
So I'm just going to keep making Harry Potter references and hope that you catch them. I personally think that Ty Lee and Azula, that ship is like a Hufflepuff and a Slytherin. It works.
Yes. Because
it's like, I'm also making another reference here to the animal kingdom. It's like those cute videos where like a lion befriends like a bunny rabbit or something. I haven't actually seen that video, but that concept of like this big scary creature being best friends with this like fluffy prey type of animal, that kind of dynamic. It's like the scary character and the bubbly nice character. They just kind of work together.
In most fiction that I've read or watched or consumed, that works like 90% of the time. And usually the scary monster becomes a lot less scary by the end of it.
Yeah.
So that's always good. All right. So the question from Felicia is, do we ship Sokka and Zuko? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Only
because I feel like there's better ships.
Yeah.
That I would, I'm trying to think of nautical terms here. that I would tie off my ship
that you would dock
on a dock.
Other
I would, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We got there.
Yeah. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying to branch out, being a little bit more like Booster Greg, make funnies and puns.
We don't need any more like me. I feel like it's enough. One is enough. But I love the effort. Okay, so Cap says, please no more Gregs. All the Gregs. So I'm just gonna say I don't ship Sokka Zuko because I it's very similar to Katara's Zuko. I feel like they would just get on each other's nerves at some point, and that would just be it. They would say, Sokka would be like, I got a plan, and Zuko's no, I got a plan, and they can't like do the plan together, so they just go separate ways. Yeah.
I think where they would work is like one of those short, intense, passionate flings.
Yes.
But they don't have longevity. They wouldn't actually stay together.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like you can't have two stubborn people in a relationship. That's just my opinion. And if there are two stubborn people in a relationship and you're happy, and that's amazing. I'm super happy for you. But I feel like what I viewed in my experience, it doesn't end well usually. Usually ends with the split skis. So I'm going to say no to Sokka Zuko, but Felicia, I'm going to raise you Ty Lee Azula.
Yeah.
See if we can meet some sort of middle ground there. The next one comes in from Art A. And Art writes, I was wondering if I could hear about your favorite ships, canon and not canon, or if you don't like many, just some opinions on some popular ones. I've pretty much only heard your opinions on Suki and Sokka and Zutara. That's true. We do like lean on those quite a bit.
Oh, I got one.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting her name,
Mm-hmm.
but the fortune teller and Uncle Iroh.
Oh, yes. Madam. Oh, what was her name?
Why am I thinking Madame Pomfrey? Again, Harry Potter references. My brain is just stuck on Harry Potter right now.
See, I went with Madam Web, which is Spider-Man, but.
Oh, okay.
Is it Madam Wu?
Yes, Madame Wu. That's it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Aunt Wu, not Madam.
Aunt Wu. Okay.
Aunt Wu. Yes, I ship that all the way. Absolutely. They had that like brief like glimpse at each other, and I was like, I want that. I want this series right now.
It's like,
please.
yes, I ship this.
Yeah.
Hello, handsome.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. It's so
and then his line, at this time of my life, there's only one surprise left, and I would prefer not to know.
Yeah. Something
when
like
that is.
It's basically like
something like that.
It's gonna be like
butchered it.
I'm gonna die. I don't want to know when it is. Thanks. You offer no appeal to me because because June's on the sheer shoe with him, who he's been hitting on all episode.
Yeah.
Which was weird. I don't ship that, by the way. Iroh and June, no thank you. No thank you. Iroh and the ticket lady at Ba Sing Se is what Nat Mac says.
Yeah. So I was just about to talk about that, Nat Mac, because there's a difference between Iroh when he turns on the charm to get something done and like genuinely feeling it. And I feel like that was the difference between the ticket lady and Aunt Wu, because while I don't think Uncle Iroh would ever do something completely for a means to an end, where he would do it like, how am I trying to say this? He would do it and still mean it, if that makes sense. Like, he was flirting with the ticket lady to get something out of it.
He did
at the
not
same
mean
time,
that.
I
don't think he meant that.
Well, I don't think he meant it as in he was interested, but Uncle Iroh is the kind of person who just sees the good in everyone. He probably saw her and is like, someone thinks this lady is beautiful, so I'm just going to flirt with her, and nothing's going to come of it, but I'm not going to do it out of like, I don't know, ill will or whatever. But anyway, the whole point is, back to Aunt Wu, that I think was genuine. That was true flirting.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah. He's, to kind of branch off what you're saying, he's not opposed to putting on the old charm to kind of get his way. But he never lets it go beyond that. Like he never keeps the ticket lady in his back pocket just in case he needs her later and strings her along.
That's exactly. Yep.
So, okay. So I think we've had Iroh and ticket lady. Absolutely. I mean, not ticket lady. Iroh and Aunt Wu. I ship. Iroh and ticket lady. Not so much. I gave in the previous question, I gave you Ty Lee and Azula. Absolutely. Now, what about Ty Lee and Aang?
Oh, that's interesting. You know what that has elements of? That was totally unintentional, but I'll take it. Aang Ty Lee has the same vibes of if two of the temples got together for like an event or something. I don't know. They came together for like air bison selection, and there was this little airbending girl, and then Aang was this little airbending boy, and they saw each other, and they just had this like cutesy little like romance before they went back to their respective temples. That's the kind of vibe I get from that. It would just be like cutesy.
Yeah. I could see that. I can see like an Avril Lavigne song being made out of that ship too.
Right.
Yeah. They're very similar. They may be too similar to last, kind of like the Sokka Zuko dynamic, where you usually need that kind of balance in any relationship, whether it be a friendship, romantic, family, otherwise, whatever. And that's what usually strengthens each other, is where one person may not be so great at, the other one is, and it's kind of build upon that. So both end up better in the end. And when you get too similar, maybe with the exception of Aunt Wu and Uncle Iroh, maybe with that exception. I think it's, when it comes to shipping, just in general, it's very easy to say, oh, these two characters are so similar, they should be together, when maybe that's not the case.
Yeah, sometimes it's probably the friendship material you're seeing
Yeah.
versus actual romantic interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. But to answer Art's question, I think my favorite canon ship
Yep.
is probably Sakasuki.
Okay.
And my favorite non-canon ship is probably either Aunt Wu and Uncle Iroh or Azula Ty Lee. I think I'm into that now. I like that. Are there fan fictions? There has to be.
There must be. There must be. What was that? Princess Azula pulled that Taizula really quickly. So
yeah, true.
I feel like maybe that's a thing.
They have a name.
If not, then I'm using that from now on, and I'm gonna credit Princess J Azula forever.
Yep.
So I'm gonna say favorite canon ship is, I don't want to say the same thing as you, but I definitely everyone knows I really like Sakasuki, but I will also say Katara Aang just works for me. It just works. It's just great.
Yeah.
And also because I know that's how we get J.K. Simmons and Korra. So, you know, I'll especially love that. Non-canon, I'm going with Uncle Iroh and Aunt Wu. For sure. Beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Love it.
They should be wonderful together. Moving on, we have from Audrey M. And Audrey has just like bullet point questions. I absolutely love it. So, and you may already know the answer to these questions. You may not. Do you ship Zuko and Katara or Aang and Katara? I think I can speak for both of us when I say Aang and Katara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you ship Yue and Sokka or Suki and Sokka? What do you think, Acorn?
Suki Sokka.
Suki Sokka.
Let's actually pause here and talk about that because we haven't addressed Yue yet. This whole conversation.
That's right.
Like, she was his first love interest.
I guess
she was. You may not like it, but she was his first love interest. I feel like that could have been so much better had they had more than 3 episodes to explore it.
I don't think it was going to get much better than that, but it could be me being stubborn.
It could be you. Yeah. You're just being grumpy about it.
Being grumpy about. Well, like, so a lot of people really like Yue, and if you like Yue, this is not a jab at you, although it's going to sound like it. I don't think Yue is that interesting of a character based on what we have seen so far. She had that kind of like Rapunzel kind of vibe to her where she's kind of like stuck in this metaphorical tower and she can't really get out, and like she's in this prearranged marriage that's gonna happen, and she's just kind of like bland. And then they try to make her, or they don't try, they do make her the moon spirit, and then she's still just kind of bland so far. Like she's just kind of like ghostly at that point, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So like,
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think I remember when I was first watching the show, when it was airing, I liked the concept of Yue because of the things that they introduced. Like, I'm a princess from the Northern Water Tribe. And he's like, well, I'm technically a prince from the Southern Water Tribe. And it's like, it's cute. It's the typical, we're 2 teenagers who have something kind of in common. We're into each other. We think each other is cute and nice and pretty and whatever. And so you like try to pursue that. I think the problem though was presenting that attraction and that little romance so quickly. Because if you remember in, gosh, I forget which episode, it was either the Waterbending Master, the one with Paku, or the finale's Siege of the Northern. I'm completely forgetting titles. Please forgive me. But anyway, one of those, we introduce and we explore their relationship, but it's literally scene by scene, like, meet me later on the bridge. And then it cuts to later on the bridge. Yeah. You know, there wasn't very much buildup. There wasn't very much like intrigue.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's I
think that's what the problem.
The fact that you have these couple of episodes and they get so like intermingled too is kind of like evident of that. Like they don't do much. They do the sneaking around, the Romeo and Juliet sneaking around. They do the Aladdin Whole New World on Appa essentially, and that's how they figure out that they're about to get invaded. And then that's it. Like, I don't know. maybe it's just something about like the damsel stereotype that's getting to me, or the fact that maybe we would have had more personality if we got a couple more episodes with her. But like,
yeah,
as she was just very vanilla ice cream, and vanilla ice cream's delicious. But when you get like the orange sherbet vanilla ice cream combo kind of going on with some sprinkles, it's kind of hard to not go. Or even better, if you want to go for like, you get like the Suki, right, who maybe the vanilla ice cream, but then she's also got like maybe some cookie dough in there covered in. I'm hungry again.
Yep. I have some dessert waiting for me after this, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm all into this dessert analogies here.
Yes,
I love it.
Yes. But yeah. So Sokka.
To your point with Suki,
yeah.
like so much more interesting in one episode than Yue was.
Yeah.
I think because they set them up as two individuals who were getting to know each other, and the attraction and the romance wasn't confirmed until the very end of the episode. Versus Sokka sees Yue and immediately is like, she's so beautiful. And he pursued her after that in all of the other scenes. And so the romance was set up at the very first moment before they had a chance to bond or get to know each other.
I'm going to make a new ship, and it's me and ice cream right now.
I support that ship.
Yes. So ultimately we're both on board. I like that, like, we have such differing opinions on some things, but then other things we're just like, no, this is the way.
Hard stop.
This is it. So for us, the official Avatar the Podcast answer for Yue and Sokka, or Suki and Sokka, is of course Suki and Sokka. Awesome. What's this last one that I'm seeing? Zuko and Katara, or Zuko and May?
Audrey finishes the question list, the bullet pointed list of questions with, if you don't like Zuko Katara, do you ship Zuko and May? And yes, I think we do.
Yep.
Because we talked about it, while they are dark and gushy together, at least right now at the beginning of book 3, I really like where their relationship goes at the end of book 3. And from what I've seen from the comics, which is not very much, I think they just have more complexity there, more loyalty too. They just seem well matched for the long term, which I think is what it comes down to when we're talking about relationships.
I'd be very curious to see the age group that ships one versus the other. Like, if there's not a statistic.
I would
for this
be interested to see that. Yeah,
I'd be very interested to see if it's like bitter old people like me being like, no, Aang and Katara forever, and that's it, versus like someone younger, maybe a little more open-minded, being like, no, like, you know, Katara and Zuko, or I don't know, Aang and Ty Lee, or whatever. I have a question for you though, Acorn, because we still have a little bit of time. So we can dive into this subject. What is your least favorite ship throughout Avatar?
Oh, canon?
Canon. Let's talk canon, and then let's talk non-canon if there's time.
Least favorite ship: Fire Lord Ozai and Zuko's mom.
Wow. Went right for that.
I'm glad Zuko exists, but Ursa deserved more.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking about Fire Lord Ozai. I never really think about Fire Lord Ozai. Even when he's on screen, I'm like, I just dislike you, man. There's not a lot of times where I say this, and it seems like I'm saying this a lot in this episode, where I say characters are two-dimensional and, you know, they need a little bit more. Yue is one of them, in my opinion. But on the other side of the spectrum, you have Ozai, who right now is just the villain. Like, he's just the evil,
he's like
menacing.
A cardboard cutout.
Yeah, he's so two-dimensional. Don't put him near a crack in the floor, because he will fall right through. Like, that's how two-dimensional he is. He's a piece of paper. I feel like even his father had a little more substance to him in just like the one scene that we've seen him in, where, you know, he was scalding. I always want to say that. Scolding his son about trying to gain the birthright over Iroh. Like, even that shows me, like, yeah, you look like kind of a bad guy, but like, you still have morals. which makes it a little more interesting versus Ozai, who's like, burn it all. I don't care.
World domination.
Yeah. And it doesn't seem like there's really a reason for it. You can't even really say it's to get his father's favor, kind of like with Zuko or Azula, because his dad's dead and he didn't really care about his dad's approval to begin with. So I don't know. It's very odd.
I'm there with you.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ursa, so much to mention.
I feel like, yes.
Yeah.
Like,
taught Zuko so many good lessons, was there for him, was his moral support, was able to distinguish between Azula's budding psychosis. I don't know. It's probably a strong word of using, but Azula's issues, she was able to clock that, was like, what's wrong with that girl? And just what she was able to instill in Zuko carried him through all the way to when he was alone in the episode Zuko Alone. He remembered what his mom told him and the impact, and he was able to claim back that part of himself by remembering her words and her lessons. And she accomplished that in like what, 2 episodes, like 2 scenes. So
like, 2 scenes, 1 episode. Like, she's already has more dimension than Yue, who got 3 or 4 episodes. Yep.
Also, Ursa has an entire series of comics for herself. Like, I can't wait to get to that. I still, no one spoil me. I still don't know what happened to Ursa because we haven't gotten to the search yet to find out. But I hear it's good. Yeah. Can't wait.
My least favorite is probably Jet and Katara.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. That Jet, everyone knows that I like Jet in a way that, like, I hate him, right? Like, he's too cool for school. He definitely has a lot of depth to him, but like, he was just using Katara, and that's just like, that's not good scummy in my book. Yeah, that's real scummy. I was going to use another word and I stopped myself, but yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's like, it's just not cool, you know? But yeah, so like, Jet and Katara, no thank you. Don't even bring it up to me. I know they had to use it so they can kind of further the plot a little bit in that episode, but that's probably my least favorite. And I actually blocked it out. I had to go on the wiki and look up ships to see like who is my real least favorite, and I just blocked it all out. So that's how much I hate it. My subconscious like, don't remember this one. Do not do it. And now I remember it.
Katara hated it too.
Yeah.
She saw one look at Jet in Ba Sing Se, and she was all up in water, like about to smear him across the ground. Yep.
How about a ship? We'll do this one, and then I think maybe we'll end it because we're getting close to that time. How about a ship that surprised you? Like it was brought up and you were like, oh, it never occurred to me. Besides Azula and Ty Lee, because we've already kind of said our piece about that.
Yeah. Canon or not canon?
Let's do canon and let's do not canon.
Okay. A ship that surprised me in Avatar. Oh, here's one.
Yeah.
Paku and Gran the second time around.
Okay. That was interesting. That was kind of like, it was nice to connect those dots where we know what happened with Gran. We know that she kind of ran off and we don't know why she ran off. And then to find out that it was...
and then Paku goes after her to the Southern Water Tribe to help rebuild it up, and they get back together again. So that's surprising.
For me, it was that first time in the Serpent's Pass where Toph thought she was being rescued by Sokka and blushed and realized it wasn't him. I was like, I never thought about that before. Also, because the age difference is kind of weird, but like, I guess in like 5 years, it wouldn't really matter too much anyways. Maybe 6 years. But then as soon as that kind of like was introduced, and that in my opinion was super purposeful. Like there's no way that Mike O'Brien was like, oh, you know, this is an accident. Like Azula, or not Azula, like Zuko and I just saw Free Britney and it ruined my concentration.
Me too.
yeah. So like Zuko and Katara, for example, like maybe not, but Toph and Sokka was super meaningful. It's probably Toph's first crush. Probably.
Unless she had this like weird crush on some.
No, I refuse to believe.
Like wrestler.
No.
I say wrestler, but they're not actually wrestlers. They're pro benders or whatever.
Yeah.
But Yeah, like I don't see Toph as being the crush type. I think she's the kind of person who gets crushes on very specific people after she gets to know them for a while, which is Zokka. She traveled with him for so long, and so she just naturally developed these like ooey gooey feelings for him, even if they don't like pan out. And that's what I actually like about that ship. While it's surprising, I don't mind it because it feels very real. Because I think we've all been there where we just have these like, I like you. I don't know why, but I like you. And it may not go anywhere, but you just have those feelings. You have those emotions for someone.
Yeah. Yeah. I also think a large contribution to that too is Zokka is probably unlike anyone that she's ever met up until that point. She was very guarded by her parents. You know, she only really talked to her, what was that guy's name? Her bending instructor who had like the
Shinfu.
mall. Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember, I forgot his name. But like, yeah, he had Shinfu's like school, that guy's just like super scummy and he's not a great bender. Well, he's probably a fine bender, but he's not great. Not like she is. Yeah. And her, you know, her parents are very stuffy. Her mom barely talks half the time.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if Toph would have even met other kids very much.
No.
Because no one knew that they had a daughter.
That's right. That's right. I don't think she
snuck
had
out as the blind bandit.
Yeah. I don't think she had a crush at all on anyone. I think she was too into herself to even consider the other pro benders in that kind of regard. And I think that the dynamic of Zokka and probably even going off of Katara as well was like very, because they have that brother sister kind of vibe to them. So it's like this makes it a much more family unit than if they was just like two random water tribe people. And that was kind of it. So what about non-canon?
I would say, as far as what's most surprising, I'd have to go with Sokka Zuko.
Okay.
Because since it's non-canon, we're basically assuming, or we're going off of the ships that have been proposed to us, that have been told to us.
Yep.
And out of all the ones I've heard, I think Sokka Zuko is the most surprising to me.
Yeah, I could see that. I think for me, non-canon, this one's going to be tough. Because I feel like all the non-canon ones, I don't want to say yours too, because that did catch me out. I was like, I never considered that.
You can agree with me. It's fine.
No, I don't want to. It doesn't make for great content. But like, it's true. Like, it's like, oh, I never really considered that before. Partly because they're very different individuals, but like also they're both so wrapped up in their own ships. Like they're such a big part of like the shipping community in Avatar that like putting them two together was like, oh, interesting. Let's like divulge in that, right? Let's like dissect that a little bit. Let's say this though. Let me propose a non-canon ship that I think if it was introduced to me, I would be like, really? And that would be Monk Gyatso and wait for it as I scan my brain right now. Monk Gyatso and old woman Toph. Although you haven't met her yet.
Oh my God.
You haven't met her yet. But like, let's say like Toph as an old woman, so it's not like creepy old man. Oh, no. Monk Gyatso when he's younger and Toph. What do you think that would be like?
I actually think they would end up being best friends.
I think, yeah. Well, because he's so similar to Aang. That's maybe not the best one.
I think they would end up, oh my God. Okay, hang on. My brain's running with this.
Yeah.
I think they would end up being really great friends. And Toph would metal bend a conveyor belt for his fruit pies.
Oh, and they have a successful business together.
They have a successful pie in face business.
How wonderful. That's really funny.
Princess Azula in chat actually has a good one.
Yeah. Sokka and Azula. Ooh. I've never heard that one. I don't like it. No. I feel like Sokka would make a joke and Azula would just be like, what?
She would cut him down to size.
She would cut him in half. Just cut him in half with lightning. That's what she would do immediately. Yep. Why are you talking to me, peasant? Zap, you're dead. He would pull that. well, you know, I'm kind of royalty too. And she'd be like, no, you're not. Zap, you're dead.
Yep. That one doesn't have much hope.
No.
Living, even in the fan fiction universe. I think that would be a tough sell.
Yeah. What about? I'm thinking like Azula and other people now. What about Azula and Jet? How toxic would that relationship be?
That would be really toxic. Oh God.
I feel like she would just date Jet just to piss off her brother.
Yeah.
That's where my head's at.
She would date Jet to like stick it to someone else. I don't know who.
Yeah.
But they would have this. Okay, I've actually seen this kind of relationship in media before. They would have this really competitive, toxic, aggressive kind of relationship where they're always one-upping each other and always trying to like get back at each other. But then, yeah, it's almost like rivals who have a romantic connection. That kind of relationship.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Yeah, but it won't work. It won't work either way. It's the moral of the story. Jet and Azula. I don't think Jet with if anyone really would work so super well. Like even I feel like Katara is kind of the easy one to ship with because she's so loving and caring and she gets emotional and she's like a very interesting character, but she's ultimately good. So she tries to see the good in everyone. And that's what happened with Zuko at the end of book 2 there. But I don't even think, even if I take away that scummy scene with Jet, or that scummy episode, I just don't think it would last. And I know that I said it's my least favorite canon one, and like, sure, I'm biased against it. But you even get someone who is like the quote unquote like fan favorite to ship with, or maybe top 3 to ship with. And even that is just like, no, like Jet needs to, and he never will, but he needed to figure his life out. He needed to get on track and just kind of like move on from the whole Fire Nation vendetta. But he never will. Yeah. He never will. I just thought of this too. Speaking of Jet, and then we'll leave it. I want to change my favorite ship. Or maybe this is non-canon. I want to say, I can't remember their name. Jet's buddies, Smellerbee and Longshot. Smellerbee and Longshot. That is my favorite non-canon ship.
Oh,
that should be a thing. Like.
That's really sweet.
They're so good together. They really do complement each other's strengths and weaknesses. Longshot doesn't say much, and yet Smellerbee understands him. Like, how perfect is that?
Yeah, I can actually, this is maybe a sign of a good ship. I can picture them as an old couple.
Yeah.
Where they're both old and gray and wrinkly, and Smellerbee takes care of Longshot, and Longshot just says so much with one look, and they live a quiet, peaceful life somewhere in the country. Like, I could totally see that. Yeah.
So that's it. Any last parting thoughts about shipping before we ship this episode?
Oh, that was a good one.
Boom.
One of the last ships proposed in chat is Azula and Aang. Yikes. Nope. Not into that. And Zen Christian makes a good point. Who would be using who in the Jet Azula relationship?
Jet would think he's using Azula, but Azula it'd be very similar to what happened with Longfang, is my headcanon.
Yep, me too.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that is, I'm going to say it. I'm going to make Rob angry. I'm going to say that is all the time that we have for this episode of AvaTalk.
The ship has sailed.
Thank you everyone for hanging out. I just want to give everyone a quick shout out who showed up. The Rob Logan, Princess J Azula, Fandoms Forever is Maddie. Hey Maddie. Natmac 2595, the Captain Howdy, Zen came in for a bit there. Keeper of the Arts. Well, hey Keeps, how you doing? K Jedi, Kylum. We got a lot of people in here. Oh, my screen's flickering, which means that it's like, wrap it up. This is my computer telling me to wrap it up right now. And everyone else, if I missed you, I apologize. Everyone, we're gonna sign off now. We are gonna raid back into my channel because I got a special surprise. We are going to be having our Phone a Friend Friday with our friend Murgles, who did the album art, who did this background. We're covering it up, but she did this background. She also did the album art for book 2 and book 3 of Avatar the podcast. And I'm just gonna say it. We're just gonna like keep on pestering her so she'll make us more amazing art for
absolutely
for the future, for the foreseeable future. So we'll go offline.
And
yes,
if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, you should absolutely go visit Murgles. She streams on Twitch at twitch.tv/Murgles, MIRGGLES. She is a professional animator, so she is actually streaming the process of creating an animated film completely from start to finish, all on her own. It's amazing. She's also a very, very good artist. And if you haven't caught Greg live, where can they find you, Greg?
Find me over at twitch.tv/BoosterGreg on Monday and Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to put a link from this to the Phone a Friend Friday if you're watching this on YouTube. If you wanted to kind of hang out and watch that as well, it'll be a great time. Murgles is a wonderful human being, and we both love her so much. So it's going to be a great conversation. And yeah, we got the credits rolling. We'll go off for a little bit, then my channel will go live, and we'll raid right in. That's what's happening right now, everyone. Thank you so much for writing in, for all of the new listeners and comments that came in. MROM3, thank you for coming in. Appreciate you. Came in right at the end there. And yeah, here we go.
July. We'll be back.
Oh yeah, we should say that. We'll be back at the end of July. Last Friday every month we'll have episode 3 of AvaTalk. And what will blah, 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 blah. What will we be talking about?
Blah, 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 blah,
Blah, blah, blah, blah. That's what we're talking about. Okay, bye.